Thank you all so much for setting this up and letting us work on your project this semester. We're really excited to share what we've done. First, to introduce ourselves, I'm Claire.
I'm Ashley.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Reagan.
And so we were especially excited to work on CancerCon and Stupid Cancer, mainly because you already have such a great established brand voice, and even more so that it's targeted towards the younger millennial generation. So this semester we really focused on expanding and finding a more efficient and optimal target audience so that we can save the most money and time and just get the most benefits out of our campaign. This is a unique situation because if we can reach one person and change their life, then it's successful, but obviously we want to reach the most amount of people. So everything that we did could be scaled up or down depending on the circumstance, and we focused a lot of our time on finding that right optimal audience for you all.
Right, so we really wanted to dive in before we jump to our tactics and understand the audience that we would be targeting. And so we knew we had to start and look at the journey that adolescent young adults face whenever they are diagnosed with cancer and with their treatment, and kind of find those, not kind of, but do find those points of contact and those relationships that are going to be really important to target. So we casted a wide net to find more information. We did some primary research. We had the opportunity to interview both adolescent young adult patients and survivors of cancer, as well as some nurses to garner that feedback. We also did some website decoding to look at potential partnerships and what is currently being used. And then we did a lot of secondary research looking at a lot of literature, articles and studies, using the mental databases, census data, and also simply maps to hone in on geography and really find, based on categories that we want to target, find where our people are located that are going to be best for CancerCon and Stupid Cancer to target. So moving on to the next slide, we had that opportunity to do those interviews, and what we really learned from that, talking to the patients and the nurses, and you can see a quote here from one of the cancer patients, survivor actually, is that whenever these AYAs or AYAs are going through this process and being diagnosed, it is a very long diagnosis, and then whenever they are finally diagnosed with cancer, it is a very rapid treatment process, and it is very tunnel vision is the correct terminology here, because the cancer patients, they aren't thinking about anything other than surviving and doing the treatment. So they're rushing into surgeries, or they're thinking about their next chemo treatment or their radiation, and they don't have time to sit down at computers and research what resources are going to be good for them. So it's going to be important for Stupid Cancer and CancerCon to target the people who are influencing their decisions. And moving on to the next slide, we really wanted to dive into that and really see kind of what issues they are dealing with so that we could reach the people that are targeting them, and also kind of figure out what they're lacking. And from our research, we found 3 big things that are really terrible and what causes cancer to suck for AYAs. The first one being challenges in cancer care, the continuum of diagnosis. So this is what I mentioned earlier, where there is a long diagnosis window. And it is because this particular group is not as prevalent to have cancer. You know, it's not the first thing that pops in their head whenever they are sick or having an injury or going on a run and feeling a pain. They're not going to automatically think it's cancer, and the doctor as well is not going to think that. And so whenever they are finally diagnosed, it is a very rapid treatment. And this process, it boils down to we're too young for this, and it's an issue that is still prevalent in the healthcare system. The next is psychosocial concerns, and this age group, I mean, they're highly prevalent to have depression and anxiety, and it doesn't help to be going through the treatment processes, which affects their body and also their mental process, and it makes them, you know, the depression and the anxiety, but it also affects their relationships. A lot of friends who have a friend who's diagnosed with cancer, they are also not able to process it. So people who are going through the treatment lose friendships and relationships and support, and this is something that they're lacking. And the last is the AYA paradox, which is simply that this group is just starting their life. They maybe moved away from home, started a new job, they're just now being their own person, and now they have to revert back to this very innocent stage of life where they have to be taken care of, they can't take care of themselves, and this is something that, you know, plays into the psychosocial concerns where they cannot be the adult that they want to be. So we want to make sure and target the people that are going to be helping them with these issues. And for us, we know, which we'll talk about in the future, is nurses. So, next slide. We wanted to highlight one last thing before moving on to more of our tactics, is that while cancer sucks for AYAs, it sucks even more for the Hispanic community. And that is because this community tends to have lower access to healthcare and resources. Whenever they are diagnosed with cancer, they're not going to the right places. They're going to the emergency room, which is not the right place for them to be. And they also, because of barriers of finance and language, don't know where to even start. And this is an opportunity for CancerCon to come in and show them what resources are going to help them through their journey.
So, after conducting some research and kind of looking into stupid cancer and CancerCon in general, we found some points that we wanted to highlight before moving forward. Some strengths that Stupid Cancer has is that you guys are already using AdWords and you guys have a high social media presence. It's already a brand that people can recognize and trust. But a weakness is that the target market is very large and may be hard to keep continuing this outreach. An opportunity there's a lot of room to grow. Nurses and organizations are a big group that you can reach out to and make your brand more prevalent. And there's also a chance for them to become more known in households. But another threat is that there may be government regulations or hospital regulations that won't allow stupid cancer to come in and talk to these patients and really get to know them. And another thing is that the targets that we're trying to reach may not be as accessible as we would like them to be.
And so using all of this research and kind of our SWOT analysis and looking at the website and current tactics, we came up with 3 main objectives that we really used throughout our planning to really just pick our efforts. So first, we want to make sure that we place CancerCon information and stupid cancer information into the hands of those people who are going to be able to make the biggest impact. So those who can make the biggest waves and be most efficient with the information. And next, of course, we want to increase awareness of CancerCon and stupid cancer in the actual AYA community and using influencers and different tactics there. And then lastly, raising awareness in the general public of the obstacles that Ryan just went over that are really unique to AYA cancer, that I know all of us were really kind of shocked by that and really felt really passionate about it. Obviously we relate right in our age group, but raising awareness to that it's really low right now. It's something that we want to keep in mind throughout the entire campaign and that tide of fundraising.
So our 2 main goals right now are education and relationships. So for education, we want to make sure that we're reaching people who actually know AYAs and will help get the information out there. And relationships, because we want to keep these relationships strong, so that way moving forward, they'll still know Stupid Cancer and CancerCon, and they'll promote it to their friends and they'll keep up with it. That way we don't have to do all the outreach on our own, we'll have other people doing it for us.
And so, like we mentioned, we have limited resources, we have limited capacity for CancerCon to get all these efforts out there. And so it's really important for us to drill down and find, like Ryan was mentioning, those people who we really need to be talking to. And first of all, we can't directly target the AYA because, like he said, tunnel vision, they're trying to get well, they have other things going on, they're not going to be sitting there looking up different things on the internet, they have other concerns with their cancer and treatment. So we identify these groups that we want to target, and our number 1 priority is going to be the nurses. Throughout our research, we saw that nurses are kind of a trusted info source for the cancer patient throughout their treatment. They really have a full understanding from pre-diagnosis, diagnosis, throughout the entire process of everything that goes on. They are really, like I said, that trusted source of information, connections, conferences such as CancerCon, and really a direct connection to the patient. And although nurses aren't actively looking for this kind of collaboration effort, we feel that if CancerCon is able to be seen as a kind of a collaborator and kind of a support effort for the nurse, it's going to provide direct access to that AYA patient and going to just increase access and support and increase the success of all of our efforts. And then the next group that we identified was the AYA relevant groups. So these could be viewed as competition to CancerCon and Stupid Cancer, so other nonprofits focusing on young adult cancer, but we kind of want to frame this as partnership opportunities, and this sets up CancerCon and Stupid Cancer to be the event and the thought leader in the young adult cancer space. So by connecting with these groups, by reaching out and sending them information and support for their grassroots efforts in their local spheres of influence, and capitalizing on that and collaborating, we not only extend our reach, extend the help, extend the awareness and information, we also promote CancerCon and Stupid Cancer as kind of a thought leader and, like one of our opportunities earlier, more of a household name.
Right, but we don't want to forget about parents and peers and the general public, because these people will be inherently targeted by our tactics and also will be touching the AYA patients as well. So parents and peers can be looking online and researching for resources for their prospective child or friend who is undergoing the treatment processes. And also the general public will be targeting that age group because someone could be diagnosed or they could have a friend who in the future could be diagnosed. So just maintaining that top of mind awareness for CancerCon and Stupid Cancer so they know where to go when that does affect their life. And also we want to highlight donations. Obviously as a nonprofit, donations are super important, and this is not different for CancerCon and Stupid Cancer. So we want to make sure to target these particular groups with some donation advertising to get them, interested and also involved in their own way.
And so that was kind of the who portion of our segmenting process to really drill down and be efficient in our efforts. And so now we kind of want to talk about the where. Our team conducted a geographic analysis, and we looked at 3 main metrics. So ethnicity, focusing on the Hispanic population that we touched on earlier, healthcare rankings across the nation, and millennial hotspots. And so Ryan touched on kind of the underserved aspect of the Hispanic population and the lack of quality, both quality and access that they receive in healthcare. In addition to this disparity, we also found some interesting facts that led us to choose the Hispanic population to focus on. First of all, this population is growing at a really, really fast rate. So in 1960, the population was about 3.5% of the United States. It about tripled in 2014. And in 2060, it's estimated to be almost a third of the entire United States population, which that's a pretty crazy number if you think about it. And so we have on one hand this crazy growth rate. In addition, the Hispanic population is defined by its youth. So we have 26% of their population are millennials. This is right in our AYA target. This is exactly who we want to be speaking to. And then in addition, 32%, almost a third of their population are under 18. So that's some AYAs, and that is a huge portion who are about to be AYAs. So we have a huge growth rate, and we have a huge percentage of AYA targeting and about to be AYA percentages. So this kind of creates a scary future situation for this population who's underserved in their health in the AYA cancer space. But it also creates a great opportunity for CancerCon to start testing efforts, see what's working, see what's not working, and make an impact in the future to help hopefully make an impact on some people's lives, like Claire mentioned in the beginning, is the ultimate goal. And so in order to really drill down on our targeting, we analyzed the United States to look at which states have the highest Hispanic population. And so we identified our top 6, and you can see their Hispanic populations listed here. It's kind of the southwest coast plus Florida as a bonus. And it's all pretty high percentages. And then in addition, we wanted to make sure that we were focusing on millennials, AYA. And so we identified millennial hotspot cities with high indexes, high growth rates, to make sure that we had a high audience and that our dollars were going to relevant spaces. And so these all occur throughout our top 6 states, in addition to Denver, of course, the location of CancerCon. And just one final note, we cross-referenced all of the top 6 states with the healthcare rankings, just to get a picture of what the healthcare was like in these states, to see what was going on. And across the board, all of the rankings were in the bottom half compared to other states. So this just reinforces this idea that this population needs attention, and it needs it soon, because if not, there's going to be some real issues in the future, and it provides opportunities for CancerCon to step in.
Okay, so now that we've talked about who we're going to be targeting and where we're targeting, we're going to move into talking about the specific tactics that we wanted to use throughout our campaign. And we couldn't think of a better way to reach these targets than through paid Facebook ads. We have some targeting information here, and we just feel that Facebook will be able to target the audiences so effectively, as well as tailor the campaigns to the objectives that we're recommending. We would like to run an awareness campaign just to get more information out about CancerCon and Stupid Cancer. We'd also like to have a campaign that would generate leads, whether that's event attendance at CancerCon, signing up for CancerCon emails or Stupid Cancer emails, leads like that. That's what we're really looking for, to see if these campaigns are driving success.
And we also know the importance of Google AdWords, of course, to get those search ads out there for people who are, doing research to find the resources for AYAs undergoing cancer treatment. And we noticed in our search inquiries that you are already doing this. You already have search advertisement, which is great. And we also noticed when we decoded the website that you already have a partnership with Google Analytics, which is also great. So you already have everything set in place to really maximize these efforts. We just want to give a couple of tips to promote this for the future. The first one, jumping down to our little array of verbiage here. These are keywords that are super important for targeting people that are going to be looking for this information. You're already doing a great job on some of these words like young adult cancer, cancer support, and cancer resources. We just also want to verify that whenever we're targeting nurses and getting people to search terms, they might be using more medical terminology. So saying things like AYA cancer and fertility, AYA fertility cancer, things like that are going to be super beneficial for the promotion of these search ads. We also want to talk about in-market audience targeting, and this is something that goes along with Facebook as well. Both those platforms give you the opportunity to really look at who is interacting with your ads and allows you to optimize toward those groups. So whenever we're promoting these search ads, we can see who's clicking on them, where they're going, how long they're staying on the page with our Google Analytics, and then really optimize to the correct audience. And then lastly, real-time updates is something we want to highlight. It's fairly new to Google AdWords, but it can be super beneficial for CancerCon. Something really simple, it allows you to set up your search ad and add parameters that allows automatic updates rather than having to manually update those for whomever would be doing that. So something very simple like a CancerCon search ad, whenever it comes time next year, you can put in a parameter showing the date of CancerCon and then have it count down automatically, like CancerCon 10 days, 9 days, 8 days. That way, whenever people are searching, it pops up as a promoted search ad and they can quickly see when it is without even having to click on it.
All right, so we have mentioned some paid social strategies, but we also want to mention and emphasize some organic social strategies that we also think would be effective for CancerCon and Stupid Cancer. So as far as Facebook goes, we want to recommend that Facebook would be the resource for new blog articles, podcast episodes that Stupid Cancer is releasing that can be shared on Facebook on this platform. As far as Instagram goes, we'd like to recommend that this is where CancerCon or Stupid Cancer can really be building community engagement by commenting on relevant accounts, engaging with those accounts, following them, and just really building that community conversation on that platform. And lastly, for Twitter, everyone is going to Twitter for immediate information and immediate updates. So we think that by using Twitter closer to CancerCon, it might be more effective to be releasing pertinent information, and that's very timely updates about the event or any information that is needed immediately about the event.
So, one of our targets is reaching the general public. So to do this, we decided that we'll make a video, and hopefully it'll go viral someday, but these videos are going to be baking videos or makeup tutorials or GIFs or memes. Well, that's how they'll seem. But then once starting the video, they'll realize that they're just regular teens talking about AYA cancer and giving you the information that you need and the statistics that are necessary to move forward. So we think that this video will be really helpful because it'll give people information and help them kind of spread that knowledge as well. And if this video goes viral, then it'll help us spread that even further. And another thing that'll help us get the message of CancerCon out there is a live stream. So everyone can't attend CancerCon because they may have financial burdens or they may be going through treatment at the time. And we just think that's a really great experience that everyone should get to go do someday. And to make this easier, we want to use Facebook Live or Twitter Live to help people see these videos in real time. Both these platforms are free to use, and they go for up to 90-minute broadcasts, and it also allows the host to comment back to the users and kind of interact with them at the same time. One of our future goals is to use YouTube Live. This is also a free platform, but the catch is that you have to have 1,000 followers on YouTube before you can use it. So that's another goal of ours, is to have 1,000 followers so that we can also use this great platform.
In the book, we really dig in more to the details of logistics, budget, etc. But we'd just like to point out a few of these, the information here. So first off, for measurement optimization, these are really the key metrics that we're going to be measuring throughout the campaign. And as far as timeline goes, this is how we would recommend to roll out the campaign efforts for maximum efficacy. And lastly, like we mentioned before, this campaign is scalable up and down, just to meet whatever circumstances you're faced with. And so we've offered 2 different budget options and scaled those in different ways to get the best efforts from the campaign.
So we really came into this wanting to maintain your current brand image and just push your efforts towards a more localized, qualified audience. We think that partnerships, driving leads, everything will help just get your foot in the door in the right area so that you are able to scale it when that time comes in a couple of years and reach the most people possible and really make the biggest impact possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, team.